Incarnations of God, an essential subject from Vinipedia. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in different incarnations, but his appearance in the role of a devotee is more beneficial to the conditioned souls than the other incarnations, with all their opulences. Sometimes a conditioned soul is bewildered when he tries to understand the incarnation of Godhead with full opulence. Lord Krishna appeared and performed many uncommon activities, and some materialists misunderstood him, but in his appearance as Lord Chaitanya he did not show much of his opulences, and therefore fewer conditioned souls were bewildered. Misunderstanding the Lord, many fools consider themselves incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the result is that after leaving the material body they enter the species of jackals. Persons who cannot understand the real significance of an incarnation must attain such lower species of life as punishment. Conditioned souls who are puffed up by false egoism and who try to become one with the Supreme Lord become MYVDS. Srila Prabhupada's books, lectures, conversations and letters offer a comprehensive presentation of this essential subject as seen in the Vinicote's Incarnations of God category. An introduction from his books is given below in the following 8 quotes. Quotes from Srila Prabhupada's books. The Lord descends to reclaim all of these fallen, conditioned souls, to call them back to the Sanatana eternal sky so that the Sanatana living entities may regain their eternal Sanatana positions in eternal association with the Lord. The Lord comes himself in different incarnations, or he sends his confidential servants as sons or his associates or akuryas to reclaim the conditioned souls. Bhagavad Gita. Introduction. The most dangerous theory of the impersonalists is that when God comes as an incarnation he accepts a material body created by the 3 modes of material nature. This MYVDA theory has been condemned by Lord Chaitanya as most offensive. He has said that anyone who accepts the transcendental body of the personality of Godhead to be made of material nature commits the greatest offense at the lotus feet of Vibhu. Krishna Book, Chapter 87, The Personality of Godhead and His Different Incarnations and Forms played the parts of devotees to instruct the conditioned souls how to approach the transcendental stage of devotional service. Advaita Siriya especially intended to teach the conditioned souls about devotional service. The word Siriya means teacher. The special function of such a teacher is to make people Krishna conscious. Chaitanya Charitamrita, DLL 6.28, possessed of perverted intelligence, the demons, rascals, and fools can never surrender to Lord Krishna. Similarly, Lord Krishna never shows them his mercy. The most munificent incarnation of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya, repudiated the sinner Gopalacipala because he was envious of the Lord's devotee. Renunciation through Wisdom, Chapter 2.3, The Sages of Nmiraya, at present Nimsar, in Siddhapur district, UP. Who assembled under the presidency of Estagazvem, discussed in detail all the various incarnations of the Absolute Truth. They came to the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that all other incarnations are either his plenary portions or else portions of plenary portions. Message of Godhead, Chapter 2. The spiritual soul is more important than the gross body, and the supersoul, Paramtm, is still more important than the soul. The Supreme Godhead is absolutely independent, and his incarnations are transcendental. The prayers of the demigods glorify and exalt devotees and explain the fate of persons who superficially consider themselves liberated from the conditions of material nature. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2 Summary. The spirit soul is one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is manifested in Svya and Vibhina expansions. The Javas are Vibhina expansions. The different incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are Svya expansions. Thus there are different potencies of the Supreme Lord, and there are different expansions of the different potencies. In this way, for different reasons there are different expansions of the same one principle, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.22-29. An incarnation of the Supreme Godhead cannot be indebted to anyone in this material world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is never satisfied by such a contradiction, which is technically called rasbhsa, or overlapping of one humor, rasa, with another. This is the same type of idea as the contradiction that an Arya is poverty-stricken, Daridra an Arya a. Chaitanya Charitamrita, DLL 12.49.